back to my channel, Deconstrut. I know it's been a hot minute and I haven't been online much, but I'm back. I got a new video for you guys and it's these cute little hair clips which have been trending everywhere. I think it's great that it was such like a big spring and summer trend, but I think it's also gonna transition into the fall really well. And for back to school, it's just a cute way to keep your hair out of your face while you're studying. So for this video, I have 3 tutorials within it, so you can do 3 different types. So there's these ones, which I think are actually my favorite. They're very simple, just like pearl beads in a row, and I like to stack them with 2 in my hair. And these have just been like a go-to like summer hairstyle for me. I also created this one, which is a bit more complex, and it has like multiple pearls varying in sizes to create extra dimension. And I think this is really great for like weddings, proms, things like that, or something just like a little fancier. This one's great for that. And then I made this tiny little purple guy. And this one's kind of like an exact duplicate of those like bigger pearl ones that you've seen, but I like the small one. I think it's a lot cuter. And I find the big ones overwhelm my small frame a lot. Or like if you have 2 of them, I know that's been trending a lot and that would be really cute. So I filmed these 3 tutorials and let's get on with the DIYs. Tutorial, you will need just 1 type of pearl bead, fishing line, and your base hair clip. Because these ones are fairly short and small, they only took me maybe like 5-10 minutes to make each one. It's super easy, and if you're new to this concept of kind of doing these like looped shapes, I would say, this is a great tutorial for you to start with. So to start, I took the fishing line and tied it to my hair clip with both ends being the same length. So I tied it the middle of the fishing line to my hair clip to attach it there. And then I took my first bead and took the 2 ends and threaded it through in opposite directions. So the ends are facing in opposite directions and the bead slides down. Now that's a bit complicated, but the video will help a lot. And then the next step was just to thread a single bead on each end of the string, and then you will take an additional bead and do the same first step that you did and thread it in both directions so that you kind of create this square loop. Now, because you want to attach it to the hair clip, I ended up threading the fishing line around the top layer of the hair clip to help secure it, and I didn't have to do it as an additional step at the end of my process when attaching the beads to the hair clip. Basically, you're just gonna repeat those steps until you reach the end. I have about 6 or 7 sections in this. So you're gonna just do the same thing. 1 bead on each end of the strings first, and then an additional bead going the opposite direction when threading through with both ends. And then you're just gonna repeat that until you get to the bottom. you want to do is just tie it off in a knot, and then you'll have excess thread, and it's best to reinforce what you just created. So what I'll do is just kind of take the fishing line and thread it back through the beads in the same pattern just to reinforce it, and then it'll be perfectly stable and nothing will move, and you'll have perfect 2 little hair clips for your hair. And this is kind of the final result. Hair clip that I have is a bit more complicated because you have these middle pearls that stand out a lot. For this one, you'll need 4 different sizes of beads. I'll have all the sizes listed in my blog post below, but you kind of have your like base bead, which is the one that goes around everything, and then you have your highlighted middle beads. And these are all pearls that I had from a different DIY project. So that's why I had varying sizes, but you can customize it how you want it and make it completely your own. This is just the design I ended up going with. But you do start it in the same way. You still start with kind of like the four section loop right there. And for that, I did the same thing. I tied it to the end of my base hair clip. And then I took a single bead, went through in opposite directions like this, and then added 2 new beads on either end, and then looped it through another additional bead like that to do the 4. And now the change is on the next one, you end up doing a total of 6 in a loop. So you'll want to add 2 additional beads on both ends. So that's 4 beads in total, and then you take 1 single bead, and that's where you loop through in opposite directions in the middle. To repeat another group of 6, 2 beads on each thread and crossing 1 in the middle. The pattern changes here to doing groups of 8 next, and you want to do 3 groups of 8. Creating the group of 8, you'll be putting 3 beads on each end and then crossing with 1 in the middle. After this, you'll be going back to doing 2 more groups of 6s and then a final group of 4. At this point, it should span the whole length of your hair clip, and you want to secure it at the end, as that will be the base for the next step. you will be adding your elevated pearl beads, starting with the smallest accent bead. You'll be putting that on top of the group of 6. And I would recommend checking out my blog post to see how the threading options go if the video is a little bit confusing. But you will be threading it through one of those center beads, and then with both your threads pointing in the same direction, you'll be sliding on the elevated pearl bead and then separating the threads and going in opposite directions again on that small base bead. All the while, you'll want to be looping underneath the top portion of the hair clip to secure all of this down so nothing is moving around, and it will keep your hair clip in place with all the beads on top. With that, you want to put the largest pearl bead in the center of it, and the second largest one's right next to it on top of the groups of 8, and so it kind of creates this like gradual change in size as you get to the center of the hair clip. For the last project, you'll need some tiny pearl beads and fishing line and a lot of patience. This one took me a while to figure out. It is a bit more complex as you're trying to follow the full like triangle shape of the hair clip. At the same time, you're working with like really small beads and they tend to move around a lot. So this one was the most complex, but on the bright side, you're just using the same 4 loop. So that's the easier part. Like you always know that you're always putting 4 beads together in total. It's always going to be a combination of some sort to make a 4. I'm not really going to try to explain exactly what I did, but in the video clip, you'll see that I kind of started on the back end here and I made a 2x3 square section. So let's say like each one of these 4s are a square. Then so there's 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2 before it splits off into like the 2-sided columns here. So you create a base of 3x2 squares, and then you'll end up going down the entire length of the beret. And I think it was about, like 8 groups of 4 before I reached the tip. And the tip's kind of like the slightly trickier part because there are pieces there which are kind of like triangular. bit triangular near the end here. And so you almost have like a 5-point star there, just so that it wraps properly around. So if you look on the back side, everything is pretty even around the beret or barrette, and they're all evenly peeking out around it. I didn't want to change the shape of the barrette. I wanted to be easily identifiable as like what it was. It just had like a pearl cover on top. After you reach this end, you go back and finish off on the other end. All the while looping through the top section like you did in the first 2 projects. And that's about it. This one did take a bit of like exploration and trial and error because like there was no pattern online that I could follow for this. I will have a pattern for you guys for this one on my blog, and this one's about, I would say, like 5-6 centimeters big. So like these are kind of like the typical ones you can buy at like Ardennes, Walmart, Forever 21, and you'll be able to do this. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me and watching my tutorial. I hope you guys are able to recreate some of these things. Please let me know if you have any questions. I know this is a bit different than the usual like sewing project that I upload. So if you need more explanations or answers, feel free to comment down below. I will have a blog post linked in the description bar with the actual visual instructions to how to create like these ones, this one, and the little purple one, which I have dropped somewhere. Hopefully that will help alongside with the video tutorial. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I do have a few more tutorials filmed and ready to go. I just haven't edited them yet, but hopefully that will be up before long. If you end up recreating any of these hair clips, be sure to use the hashtag Deconstrut so I can see them and I can find them. Love seeing you guys recreate things, and I'll see you guys in another video. Hopefully not 3 months from now. I'll try to be a bit more consistent, but yeah. Okay.